You know that feeling, right? When you have this amazing idea, this really powerful desire to do something good, but life gets in the way. Circumstances just stop you dead in your tracks. So, does that intention count for anything? Well, we're about to dig into a surprisingly modern answer from a very, very old source.
So, where does this idea come from? We're jumping back in time, way back to the 13th century. We're looking at a beautiful story from a mystic and theologian named Gertrude the Great. Now, this is an ancient text for sure, but it speaks so directly to something we all experience, that gap between what we want to do and what we can actually do.
And this gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? What is the true value of a good intention? If you have the will to do something wonderful, but you just can't, does it even matter? Let's find out.
Our story kicks off, like so many great stories do, with a pretty simple request.
So you've got this nobleman, and he comes to Gertrude with this very earnest, very sincere plea. He asks her to pray for him so that he can perfectly accomplish God's will in his own life. Simple enough, right?
Well, you'd think so, but this seemingly simple request actually sends Gertrude into a total spiral of self-doubt.
I mean, her heart is absolutely in the right place. She genuinely wants to help this man. Her mind starts racing, thinking of all the things she could do, all the prayers, the works, the actions she could take to help him and to glorify God. But there's a problem. She's physically weak, and she just feels completely, totally unequal to the task.
And the text itself just lays out her inner conflict so perfectly. She has the will, she has this whole list of good intentions, but her body just won't cooperate. She feels like all her goodwill is totally pointless, that it's just destined to, as she puts it, never bear any fruit.
And it's right there, at her absolute lowest point of frustration and despair. That's when the whole story turns on a dime.
So picture this. Gertrude is praying, and she's basically just scolding herself for having all these desires that she can't fulfill. And in that moment, she has a vision. The Lord appears to her, and he's holding this beautiful garland of flowers.
And the very first thing he says to her is, well, it's incredible. He tells her that her thoughts, all those unfulfilled intentions, are just as beautiful and pleasing to him as the most perfect physical offering. He sees the value in what she intended, not just what she did. It's this huge validation of the will behind the action.
This vision is where we get the real meat of the story, a profound conversation about the very nature of our good intentions.
So Gertrude, who's probably still trying to process all this, asks a question that I think we've all felt at some point. Why? Why give me the desire to do these great things if you know I'm too weak to pull them off? She even brings up her own deep desire to receive a particular sacrament before she dies.
And just so we're all on the same page, that sacrament she mentions, extreme unction, is what many people today would call the last rites. It's a really deep spiritual preparation for death. So this isn't some small wish for her. It's a profound yearning for a good and holy end to her life.
The Lord's answer is just fascinating. He explains that these desires are given to people as a way of sharing his own will with them, almost like a sign of deep trust. It's compared to how two really close friends share their most important thoughts with each other. It's a way to show love and fidelity, whether or not the action itself ever happens.
And the whole teaching really boils down to 3 steps. First, God inspires the good desire within you. Second, he receives that goodwill and preserves it. He keeps it safe. And third, and this is the big one, that preserved intention counts toward your salvation, just as if you had actually done the deed.
He says to Gertrude directly, even if you died suddenly and couldn't receive the last rites you want so badly, it wouldn't make a difference. Why? Because all the years you spent wanting it, preparing your heart for it, that sustained intention is already saved and counted. Just think about that for a second. The preparation, the will, holds the very same value as the final act.
And the vision wraps up with this just incredibly beautiful and comforting promise, one that extends way beyond Gertrude to anyone who's ever had a good intention they couldn't act on.
Your good intentions aren't just lost to the ether. No, they're kept in an unfading springtime, where they stay green and flourishing forever, all counting towards your salvation. I mean, what an incredible image, right? It's like our inner world of good intentions creates this permanent, beautiful garden that never fades.
So the ultimate takeaway from this 800-year-old story is simple, but it's so powerful. Every good thought, every noble desire, every kind intention you've ever had, even if it was fleeting, even if you were powerless to act on it, is seen, it's valued, and it is eternally preserved. And that leaves us with something to really think about. If we truly believed, deep down, that every single one of our good intentions mattered that much, that they were eternally green and flourishing, how might that change the way we think, the way we hope, and maybe the way we live each day?